Well, hello and welcome. We are the Shills, a group of YouTube creators and debunkers coming together for live roundtable chats, live debunks, guest interviews, and much, much more. Tonight on the program, we have more cinematic gold with, yes, you know it, the History Channel bringing us the Legendary Kappa. And we have Rebel Without a Clue and his fake ISS for realism, and maybe his confusion on clouds as well. Let's see if we have time. Joining the panel tonight, we have a man who is celebrated for how he toys with his debate victims, like the living side of his name. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have Schrödinger's cat. Now, let me hand this over to a man who once fought off a group of flat earthers by teaching them the true laws of perspective while juggling 3 laser gyro rings and a globe. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jim Bojo.
Thank you very much indeed, Dick Dawson. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. I'm Jim Bojo. Welcome to the Silly Shill Show. We are the Shells, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you are. Thanks for joining us. I know you're going to love the show tonight. As Dick Dawson so eloquently states, we've got some great silly to look at today, as well as a guest you are going to love. So with that, I'm going to turn to the team first of all, though, to see who's here and what they've been up to this week. First of all, Dick Dawson, how are you doing? What have you been up to this week?
I have been all kinds of over the globe and the charts and whatnot, doing some crazy shit. And I am just thinking to myself right now that maybe I should have actually had a break. But, you know, what are you going to do? You know, you plow through, you move on. We've been looking at a little bit of stupid to bring up on the World Model Feud live streams coming up. We do also have a new formatted sort of meet the press thing that we're trying to get together. It's not quite ready, but there's lots coming. So watch this space.
Oh, that's very interesting stuff indeed. Brilliant stuff. Now, Sarcastic Barman, how about you, sir? Are you here? Can you hear me? You've been having some connection troubles today, haven't you?
Oh, my connection's been an absolute bitch today, mate. It seems to be okay now. It did drop out a minute ago, but fingers crossed we're okay. I think it's just all the tears of the English rugby fans have broke my internet. It seems
is that what it is?
Wales should now officially be the top-ranked team in the world, so that's fucking nice. Yeah.
There we go. So what have you been up to this week, then? You got any stuff out you want to tell people about? Or stuff
I've got a video that's ready to go out, but with the internet being a pain in the ass, it's not going to get my Orphan Red comments video. So if anyone's found any horrible Orphan Red comments that still wants to send to me, if my internet works, you can send it me. And if not, hopefully it'll go up tomorrow afternoon UK time. So yeah, that's about it at the moment. It's been one of those shitty weeks for internet and busyness.
Wow, fair enough. You sound like you've been run off your feet then. Fair enough. Let's move to Anti-Flutter next. Hello, Squire. How are you doing in the future?
Hey, kia ora, my bro. I can
do it
right up here. That's you, my man.
Oh, I'm pretty good. I just want to know what you've been up to this week. I haven't seen any videos out, but you're working on some stuff at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, so I've just upgraded my camera and that, so just working through how to sort that out, and then once that happens, I'll start recording and get something out. And to all the fans of Yuri, I'll make sure he makes an appearance as well.
Ah, lovely stuff. Well, I look forward to that. We do like the occasional appearance, but not too much. He does like to commandeer things a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, a wee bit too much, especially if he gets a bit too much vodka in him.
Yeah, quite. Okay, Chapman the Drunk Monkey.
Oi, fucking oi. Do you know, I always know when you're coming to me, long before you're coming to me, because it's like the excitement in your voice.
You can hear, can't you? It's palpable. I do look forward to talking to you, mate. How have you been doing? Have you got anything you want to tell people about this week?
Yeah, no, nothing new apart from there's a video that I've just put up on Phuket word or plum-face word or fuckwit word or wank spanner word or cunt feature word. Whoops, I said the wrong word.
Whoa, he said it. It's all right, mate. We're not monetised yet. It can't hurt. And so, right, brilliant stuff. You know, everyone who watches this knows you. The video Chapman gets out fantastic. Get over there now. Have a look at whatever he's done. Logical Troglodyte, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. I had a horrible week this past few days trying to beat off a rampaging herd of conspiracy theorists that had invaded Cave Town Square, and we're still trying to put the pieces of the town back together.
A whole heard of them, mate. Blimey, that's insane. And have you managed amongst all of that to put out any content you want to tell people about, or have you seen anything you want to tell people about?
Recently helped Babes get a idiot report together for tonight. Working on the final scripting of the Psychology Part 3, and there is a couple of special things in the works, one of which I will let Jeff tell you about here shortly. It was his idea, so I'm going to let everybody just blame him.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thank you very much indeed. Now, we have got Steaming Cup of Reason on the panel today. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jim Bojo?
I'm doing great, thank you very much. Welcome to the show. You're now a permanent member of the Shills, so everyone's going to be seeing you from now on. Woo, yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you for being here.
I'm loving this.
Excellent. Well, yeah, we're looking forward to having you here, mate. You always make a great contribution. I'm wondering if you've got anything out at the moment you want to tell people about, videos, content, or other people, projects, you know.
Well, I just released the Friday night special. Hope everybody caught that with the End of Conspiracy as my guest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one. I didn't get a video out last night because I'm just so darn busy, mostly because of the new project I'm working on with Logical Troglodyte. Watch this space, folks. We're coming soon. A new channel called Logic and Reason, where we will look at different conspiracy theories and take them apart piece by piece. Logical will look at the psychological side of it. I will look at the reasoning side of it, and we'll have big name guests come join us and talk about it.
Wow.
So
that
watch out.
awesome.
It's going to be cool.
Absolutely. So everyone listening, you're going to have to get over and have a look at that, because I certainly will. Brilliant stuff. Right, well, now Robert Legere III is back with us again to produce tonight. He's still buoyed up from his recent successes at our show last week with Conspiracy Cats and Thursday with Blue Earth Thing. We all think he's done a fantastic job. So basically, I want to take a moment to say thanks for making us look good, mate. How are you doing? Have you got anything you want to shill out for anyone?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me again, and let's get it going. I've been streaming games on my channel, but it's nothing big yet.
Oh, cool. Yeah, actually, no, well, I've been to a couple of your game streams, so I can recommend
you
that.
Have.
Fortnite, stuff like that. It's pretty good stuff, man. Seriously, get down there. Hey, you've been playing some funny stuff in the background that I loved as well. That was amazing.
We'll leave the name out.
Yeah, well, quite. Yeah, just for now. Brilliant. So, right, as ever, if you want to get your messages to the panel, don't forget to @themods or Kiri Mac, and she will make sure that they find their way to the panel or to the guest. Kiri Mac, hello, how are you doing? And is there anything you want to bring up to people before we start?
Hey, yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. I just want to say hi to a few of our regulars in the chat. We've got Amy Hogan, NANA, we've got Clifford Reynolds, Factard, Joseph Grant. Hi, everybody. Hope you have a great night. I'm going to post you a couple of links. I found some of the guys have found some really good new channels recently. This guy called Flat Smack, he's on 66 subs. Go and check him out. I also, my eagle eye noticed we've got Thor in the chat as well, and I'm quite liking his channel at the moment, so you guys go ahead and check it out because it's really good. So
absolutely, yeah, brilliant stuff. Okay, well, thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
Right, wonderful. Thank you, stuff, guys. Right, if you hadn't picked it up already, I'm Jim Bojo and I talk to people, but I've been a bit poorly for a few days, so you're going to have to wait for some content, frankly, until my tummy feels better. So, but I can definitely recommend you go out and watch the stuff from all of this week's panel, and definitely this week's guest, because he's had some great videos. He's done some wonderful debates. Right, now, speaking of which, this week's guests, you probably know him from the great debates he's had with people like Mind of Manny, or Matthews, or Mateus, the Walking Witness, or even way back with Flat Earth Fokker. That was the first time I'd actually seen him. He does a great line in Sardonic Repartee, and one of our own team members, Dead Kennedy in Space, who sadly couldn't be here today, even actually made a video analysing and praising his debate style. So it's with a very great pleasure I introduce you to Schrödinger's cat. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Sir, I am thrilled and excited to be here.
We are thrilled and excited to have you.
I can't help but be a little nervous, though, because how am I supposed to follow Conspiracy Cats?
Oh, come on now, we love you here. Schrödinger, I mean, look, if anyone in the side chat hasn't seen him, I don't know why not. You immediately have to get to his channel now. But you are a well-known face amongst this community, and you are fantastic in some of the content that you've been kicking out. I wonder if you could explain to people looking now, just in case they don't know, how would you describe yourself in sort of in a nutshell? A couple of words, what it is you do, who you are.
I would brand myself as
All right. How's it going, buddy? Hopefully
Being serious when I say things.
Streaming live
because sometimes I'll say some
right now.
outlandish things.
As you can tell, I'm a little bit
somewhat
nervous for
monotone
this
voice.
live stream, like I usually am with all the
people
live
that don't know me
streams,
very
so
well don't know how to
please
take
bear
that
with me
sometimes,
there.
which just
Thank
adds
you all
to
so much
the
for
pleasure
2
that I
million
get out of
subscribers.
putting them in that situation.
It's absolutely amazing.
No, I mean, I agree. I particularly like that sardonic delivery that you have. Very dry, as you say, sarcastic, but I would probably define it as being highly ironic, you know. Now, how long is it that you've been making content, roughly speaking, or at least in the vein that you do now? And what was it that triggered you to get on that path?
Okay, let me start back at the beginning. So it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, somebody told me that there was this thing called the Flat Earth Society, and it was presented to me as that they were being sarcastic. And it's like, but they put so much into it. It's like almost like they really mean it, but the person, I'm sorry, I got puppies in the background if they're barking.
That's okay.
Yeah, I've got twin dachshund puppies and they're mad. And so it was presented to me as if it was a satire thing. And I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. And then, and I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. And then, and I was like, oh, I got an echo. It's pretty funny. And then, and I was
there is a big old echo
pretty funny. And then,
there is a big old echo
pretty funny. And then, right now. Okay,
Can
so that
anyone hear?
happened.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but so then my last deployment before I retired, I spent in Germany as the nighttime battle watch captain in the JOC for Special Forces Group 10, and I spent a whole lot of time just sitting there doing nothing. So I spent a lot of time on YouTube and found out that flat Earth was a thing. So when I got back to the States, I watched, started watching all these videos, and it almost, it took me a while just to realize that these people were serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I got into the chats, the comment sections and things like that, and started watching some of the bigger channels, Red's Rhetoric, Sean Hufford, people like that. And I was active in the comment section. I was like, I don't really know what I have to add to this whole arena. And then it occurred to me, hold on, you just spent 22 years in the Navy driving Navy ships.
All right.
So I spent 22 years in the Navy driving Navy ships. We're doing this again. So driving Navy ships. We're doing this again. So driving Navy.
And I think it's gone. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. That's weird.
I think we had an unfortunate technical issue in that the meat system that we're using dropped out, which was rather out of our control, and now we're having a desperate sort of scramble to piece things back together a bit. So you might have to excuse us if it's technically gone a bit awry for the moment. Was that
me? It's echoing or something, repeating itself.
Yeah.
You're hearing that as well. Repeating itself. Okay.
Yeah.
You're hearing that as well. Repeating itself.
Okay.
Yeah. You're hearing that as well.
Oh, wow.
Word. Wow. That's trippy as fuck. My word.
Well, it's
Is it me?
Ah, that's interesting. So it's getting fed back through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, how could that be? I'm on headphones.
I'm not sure, man. It's only happening when you're talking.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, but it happened when I spoke.
Well, if it happens again, I'll switch up headphones and see if that helps.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we carry on, shall I just double check with the guys running all of the cogwheels and the levers at the back, whether or not they're happy to go on? Because obviously, if we're not streaming right now, there's not much point me asking more questions. Dick Dawson or Robert Leggera, either of you available for comment just now?
Yeah, we're good, guys. I'm working on it. I think that we had an issue with his mic, but I'm trying to get it fixed.
Okie dokie, lovely stuff. Well, that being the case, let's press on again, shall we? I'll get on to my last question I was going to ask you. Basically, I wondered if you've got any projects, right? It's either stuff that's just come out, stuff that's coming out in the near future, or other people or places that you want to highlight. Obviously, you were sort of halfway through a bit of a statement there as well, so you're welcome to finish that one off before you move on.
Yeah, I was just saying, my first video was I had a graphic artist at work take a circle and zoom in 1 million times, and it looked perfectly flat. So I just had him zoom in and out, and that was my very first video on YouTube. And I haven't looked back yet. I try to put stuff out about once a week. My latest video was about a death threat that I received from a flat earther, a quasi-death threat.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun. And that's what about better performing videos, by the way. People like when people try to kill me, apparently.
Yeah, a little bit of jeopardy does seem to excite things, apparently. Well, I'm terribly sorry to hear you've had to undergo that experience at all. Obviously, the Shills support you entirely in any way that we can.
It was not. I'm in no danger at all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's be honest.
I'm surprised no one's tried to kill me yet.
Well, the night is young. So, thanks very much, Schrödinger's cat. We very much appreciate you giving us a little time to talk to you about the work you do. As we move forward throughout the show, if any of you in the audience have anything listening you'd like directed towards Schrödinger's cat, then just at KiriMac, and we'll make sure that we get that too.
At the Shills, because Kiri Mac is on the Shills account. Please at the Shills.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. Thank you for that correction. Yes, so please at the Shills, as that is who Kiri Mac will be playing the part of this evening. Right, okay, where was I? Let's see. Kiri Mac, actually, incidentally, is there anything popping up in the chat at the moment? Questions from Schrödinger's cat, anything like that you'd like to bring up now?
Well, there's a lot been going on, so mostly we're getting some really great feedback, pun intended, from the chat here. But I will be sure to let you know if we get any comments or questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to ask Schrödinger's cat at the Shills, like Thomas and Jimbo just said. If you've got any silly comments or any useful information, that's always good too. Thank you.
Absolutely.
If I can say very fast, in the run up to my appearance here tonight, Kiri has been delightful as far as responses to any questions that I've had. I spent a couple times appearing on another show that is now defunct that I will not mention, and getting the host of that show to even respond to emails and pertinent questions about my appearance was like pulling nails. So Kiri has been just wonderful, and thank you, Kiri.
No, you're welcome. Anytime.
We love Kiri. She's amazing. She's come in and actually made the Shills work all of a sudden. So yeah, we pretty much agree with you on that one, I think. Look, right. Schrödinger's cat, thank you very much indeed. I think basically what everyone listening to wants to know now is, would you like to join in with a bit of a live debunk with us?
Absolutely. That's what I live for.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you very much indeed. In which case, I'm going to pass it straight over to Dick Dawson.
Well, and thank you very much for that. Now, let's see what we can get into today, because, we had a couple of glitches there and whatnot, so I think we should make up with it, sir, with some really good stupid. Now, if I am correct, because there was a little bit of chaos leading up to the show as well, we are going to start with, yet again, the Amazing History Channel and one of their unbelievably true-to-life videos, are we not?
I'm not entirely sure, in the order that you wanted to put them in today. I thought it might have been the ISS one, but there's the man.
ISS is first, ladies.
ISS
it's
is
bound
first.
to be garbage.
Well, yeah exactly. Robert, what do we have lined up first? Let's get this right.
First up is a video on the ISS. In the second video, we have the Kappa video. And the third one is the Cloud video.
So we have Rebel Without a Clue, a pause, and his video, do we fake the ISS just to make it look more real? Yeah, you can't make this shit up, people. This is really what he put out. So I think what we'll do is we'll kick it on over to our producer here to kick that play button and see what we got.
Show you inside the space station. They have to fake it to make it look real, like hair, female's hair all of a sudden
Right,
goes on
fucking
end.
pack that
Don't
in.
affect guys. But why is it not affecting their hair?
Stop.
It is affecting them. Jesus. You just don't have much hair.
Listen, right? I've worked with hair for 27 years, and I've never seen hair do that.
Say word, son.
It's fucking the fact that they're in the International Space Station, that the hair's reacting like that. It never does that on Earth under the influence of gravity. You fucking morons.
Say word, son.
Sorry.
No, sorry. I just thought there'd be more. Sorry, you sounded so exercised by that. I thought that we were about to get a proper explosion. I agree with you entirely.
I could go on. I mean, if you want to hairspray the hair, right, to get it like that, you'd have to use an awful lot of hairspray. Therefore, it'd be solid. It would be hard as fuck because it'd have to be. So, you know, when you see it they moving about on the space station, the hair moves. Therefore, it's not sprayed with fuckloads of hairspray. It's not backcombed either because it wouldn't be like it. Oh, mate, no bollocks. That hair is not on Earth under the influence of gravity.
The barber in you's gone insane. This is for people who don't know. He's somewhat of a professional snipperer. So yeah, seeing people use that as an excuse is obviously driven him off the very fucking edge. And for what it's worth, I agree completely with you. You look at the hair on anyone there who's got more than about 1.5 inches of hair on the top of their head. You can see it waving about in a way that is literally impossible to recreate on Earth. You'd have to get in a vomit comet, but you only get 20 seconds there, not the full.
That's it. The thing is, I've worked, I've done hair shows and shit, and like made big hair, and know what it takes to get it to fucking stay up like that. You know, that is not on Earth.
Yeah, no, that especially with the way it actually can like slightly move a tiny bit. If you make hair like that stand up as much as it was, it ain't doing anything but lighting on fire if you're not careful.
Exactly. Yeah. It would be rock fucking solid. It wouldn't move freely like that. Bollocks.
The only time I've seen that actually is if you hold on to a Van de Graaff generator. Has anyone seen that? It makes your hair stand up on end because all the static charge.
It's static, yeah.
Right. But of course, if you did that, they'd all be stood around holding onto one of these things and earthing onto every piece of metal around them. So I think you'd notice.
Again, it wouldn't be like that, you know.
So, Drunk Monkey, what happens if you're halfway through doing a lady's hair and she tells you that the Earth is flat?
Well, do you know what? At work, right, all my fucking colleagues, I mean, I used to do ladies' hair, now I do barbering. All my colleagues try and promote my videos, and they're saying, oh, yeah, he's a YouTuber, he does this. And one day, I know I'm going to have a flat earther sat in my fucking chair, and I'm just going to, I don't know. Fucking cut their head off, probably.
Yeah. This is it, you're holding a sharp implement.
Yes.
Right, that's what I was about to say. Hopefully you're not using a straight razor giving you shaves.
Yeah, fucking cutthroat. The Earth's flat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm
you want to say that again, son?
There's
no such thing as flat Earth. It's globe denial.
Well, just remind them of who's holding the clippers. They'll shut up quick enough.
Right near the ears for a minute, just to give them a thought. Like, right, has anyone else got anything they'd like to jump in with, or otherwise I'll get them to hit play. Lovely, that's a nice yawning silence. Robert Leger, if you'd like to hit play.
It's a pass. But the rest of them, I mean, think about it. Their hair should be like this. So why does it only affect females? They're just faking it.
Pause.
Right, so let's look inside. Well, first of all,
fucktard.
Pause. The guy sitting right under the woman has short hair, but you can clearly see that is not laying on his skull. It is up in the air. He just doesn't have as long a hair. Come on.
It's unbelievable. What about, was it Sid Vicious she was just showing, or Johnny? It was Sid Vicious, wasn't it?
That was Sid Vicious,
yeah.
That was a lot of gel in his hair, right?
Oh, yeah, egg white they used to use back then.
Well, yeah, quite.
That's it.
He had something in there to cause that to happen. You noticed that the woman in the ISS did not have hair that was stuck into sort of spiky, wet-looking, it was crazily floating around like she was underwater.
Exactly my point.
Does he not understand how hair gel works, or egg whites?
No.
Well, notice how no flat earther has ever reproduced that look on Earth.
Yeah.
With the waviness.
I tell you what, if they
Absolutely.
did, they'd pull something off and they'd be able to go on a catwalk and go, check this out. I can get hair to make it look like it's in space.
Yeah, man. Someone would do that. For their head.
Like they do in them YouTube movies by NASA.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Stephen Cup of Reason, did I just see you wanted to jump in there, mate?
No, I was just chuckling at Judd.
Right, hard not to, isn't it? Right. Well, I think we'll hit play on it for the moment.
This film came out in 1968, the year before they say they went to the moon. And the interior, this sci-fi ship, was like this. And I don't know whether that's the galley or the workstation, but it looks pretty tidy. And this is the corridors. The space station.
Pause.
We get shown
Pause. Pause. So in films, they make stuff look kind of cool, but in real life, they have stuff to do. Look, I'm not being too flippant about it, but the fact is, in the space station, they have a lot of waste materials that they have to bag up to put to one side, stored materials that they have to keep to one side for a moment's use. Whole sections of the ISS are full up of this stuff. They've got air pipes running from section to section. They've got power lines running. They have scientific experiments in literally every module. The reason it's a mess in there is because, one, there's no floor, so there's nothing to trip over. Literally strap it to the wall and you can coast down the middle and it's not a problem, right? And secondly, because they've got a lot of shit they need to do up there, you know? They can't just have a big empty space station to wander around and look all Star Trek in. They're doing stuff there, man.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing he's proved there is that sci-fi isn't reality. So
yeah, quite.
Yeah, the space station's built for functionality, not aesthetics.
Yeah, I mean, he called it messy. It's also famously quite smelly, isn't it? Because their ability to wash and shower is somewhat limited to basically using wet wipes, more or less. Everyone who's gone up there said the first thing you notice when you get on board is the place kind of stinks. Like, it is a bit messy.
He should spend the night on a warship.
Do you know what? When I was a teen, I had a chance to spend the night on HMS Devonshire as part of a thing I was doing with a school cadet corps. And you are absolutely fucking right, sir. My God, that was an education.
Yep, diesel fumes and salt water.
Oh, I can imagine that's somewhat similar to In Rem's house, just not quite as pungent.
You know, when I would get home from a deployment, I would have to take everything and wash it and then rewash it.
Oh, yeah, especially after even just a week in the field, you're bad like that.
Right. The smell just gets into the fibers, and it's really hard to get it out.
Yeah, then you go, you're saying in the ship's the same with an APC, when you step in the back of them after the guys have been out in the field for a couple of weeks. And
oh, yeah. I've spent some time in an APC as well, and it's sort of the same thing. Diesel fumes and farts and burps.
Yeah, well, you feel the farts fucking try and drown out the diesel fumes for sure.
Yeah, you got to do something. I'm going to turn quickly to Kerry Mack, if that's all right, because I think we've got a couple of comments might be worth reading out. Is that right?
Sure, we've got a couple of comments, and I've got a question for Schrodinger's cat. Maybe we can do that after this video.
Indeed.
So Pete Berube says the ISS is fake because the bald guy's hair isn't standing up. Tony Designs thinks we need to get a new study funded to discover if body hair is affected in the same way. Sadly enough, this is ugly German truth. Sadly enough, they seem to all be fucking stupid and therefore procreate like the Egyptian plagues. I mean, good point, right?
Very good point.
I'm starting to think Idiocracy was a documentary and not just a movie.
Right.
Okay, any final comments you want to give out to us? Oh, I'm getting a lot of quiet there. Right,
yeah,
well...
I'm muted, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thor said Stanley Kubrick filmed 2001 on location. 2001 A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. All the dad jokes today, all the dad jokes.
Indeed. All right, well, look, thank you very much, Kerry. We'll come back to you in a little while. I think for the minute, we're going to continue on the video.
Seriously? That's the working conditions? Come on. Right. Now, this is it's the bounds are ridiculous. But what I want to point out here, see these blue bars?
Stop. Yeah, stop.
What the fuck is ridiculous about that? It's a space station, for fuck's sake. Have you ever been on a submarine? That's fucking like packed and just like it's the same. You know, what does he want? A fucking hotel up there, the dork.
I think so.
He's an
I think he wants an
idiot.
observation deck. Sorry, steaming cup of reason.
Yeah, he's an idiot. I mean, I've seen worse in a freaking server room.
Christ almighty, man.
You're right. Yeah, the wiring in those places gets insane. Logical Troglodyte, what do you think about the situation so far?
I think he's a freaking idiot. Does he have any clue how much mass that would add to that space station if we made it all nice and pretty the way Stanley Kubrick did his freaking movie? You know, gee, man.
Exactly. Doesn't that tell you something?
Yeah, and the other thing is, as Schrödinger knows, we've both served on warships. All of our piping, all of our plumbing, all the electrical conduit, it's all exposed for a reason.
Because shit breaks.
When it breaks, we don't want to have to pull panels off to get to it.
Absolutely.
and all that shit is weighed and everything, isn't it? Especially with submarine, they know exactly what's going on there, and there's no fucking decoration or a fucking B-day.
Oh yeah, even when SpaceX get into space for a lot cheaper than the shuttle ever managed it, they're still looking at on the order of about £1 million. Well, about $1.5 million sterling for a kilogram of weight to get into space. So every gram that goes up there is worth over $1,000. They really plan this shit in advance.
Fucking right.
Reason jump in there a little bit. Did you want to add anything there, mate?
Yeah, when I was in the military, I was a radio operator attached to an artillery regiment. When we were in the field, we'd be set up in these rad vans, and there's wires all over the place, just like you saw there in the space station. It's all about the ability to move when you got to move. The order comes down to move and change your location. We had like 10 minutes to pack up the entire station and get it on the road. If you're hiding wires everywhere, it's impossible to do that.
Yeah, no, indeed. What good point, well made, sir. How about you, Dick Dawson? What are you thinking at this point?
Well, I mean, look at what we're looking at, right? Nonsense and pointing out stupidity. Like, there was another guy that was doing that whole, but it doesn't look right up there. Well, I'm sure they're going to waste all this weight shooting things up into orbit at how much per pound to get something into orbit just to make the walls look prettier. No, of course not. Nobody cares, And the whole thing with the hair and stuff, we're hearing it from somebody who can't even get their arms off the armchair to get that logic into work. It's that whole thing where, gee whiz, my grade 7 education tells me that doesn't quite add up to be 5 because 2 + 2 equals what again? Fuck. And I'm still shocked that these idiots can even figure out how to fucking make YouTube videos. It just blows me away.
I'm completely with you, man.
It baffles me as well because they're so fucking stupid. I'm surprised you could work a fucking kettle.
Nice. Lovely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just quickly before we move on, I want to say that sadly, Sarcastic Barman has had to leave for the evening. He's been suffering some technical difficulties associated with living in rural North Wales. So, or actually, he's in England, actually, just over the border. But anyway, the point is, he's had to leave. So we all want to wish him a bit of luck. Hopefully, he'll be able to pop in again by the end of the show. But if not, we look forward to seeing him next time. And I hope you managed to sort that internet out. Now, Anti-Flatter, I want one more quick word from you because we haven't heard much from you. What do you think so far?
Well, I think that the UK internet is bloody hopeless.
It is fairly hopeless, isn't it? And how does that reflect on the international space station, you think?
Well, the guy's just taking it as it doesn't look right to me, and he's got no fucking clue about why they do what they do up there and the reasons why it looks the way it does. And everyone else pointed out quite nicely, they're not making the ISS to look pretty. It's there to do a job.
And it's done
maybe
a remarkable
one day when we
one.
get a space like hotel, they'll make it look pretty, but that would be its purpose.
Yeah, exactly. It's everything that's up there at the moment goes up there with function in mind. So I'm sorry if it doesn't look very pretty, but you'll have to just deal with it. Right, I think we've had a decent reflection from the panel. Let's continue with the video.
They're spread out all over the place, and these are handrails and foot rails, because I think this thing turns around, more like a cylinder.
No.
And these guys can use these to keep their balance. I think that's what they do. I mean, look at this. This is a workstation, right? There's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 screens. One in, one on. There's a laptop up the corner. That's not switched on. And there's ropes and cables. This is actually waiting to happen.
Stop. Someone say something, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah. It was so foul, mate.
He's just fucking picking up. He's just pointing out pointless shit. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't know what it's there for. And he's just going, yeah. Oh, my. Fucking hell, man. Get a life. What is wrong with you?
This is the kind of guy that would point at the toilet and look, there's a nice looking water bowl. Like, he just doesn't get what's going on.
Fucking not at all, man. The guy has completely fucking lost it.
I don't think we should gloss over the fact that people watch this video and click like.
Yeah, fucking hell.
That's scary.
Yeah, very scary.
What we are experiencing with this gentleman is a failure to communicate.
I like your reference, sir. You win the memes today.
Thing is, he's actually got nothing to. He's not offering anything either, is he? He's not. He's just pointing shit out.
Oh man!
I don't. He's not even pointing shit out. He didn't even point out the things he was pointing out. Oh, look at this workstation. It's like, I'm not certain that's what that bit is.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And why was there a wire hanging across the room randomly like that, not being supported by anything? And how come the laptop was upside down? That seems weird.
Yeah. That's a little bit of a giveaway that there's no upside down.
Yeah, quite.
You know
There's
what I mean?
no floor in there. What's going on?
Fucking
Jesus.
get a grip.
Unbelievable.
Right, let's push on a little bit further. Shall continue.
And then we've got this is a Russian guy, and they've got him floating, but his hair's all brushed back. He should look like Johnny Rotten. Right, so what's this all about? I mean, seriously? This is just to make it look busy, to make it look as if they're doing something.
Pause.
Right,
Yes, someone say something.
Thank you.
What if they actually are doing something, you absolute fool? Holy shit, man!
Oh
It's
man!
just-
If this guy was operating on Windows 10, I'd be getting an error message. User error. Replace user.
Oh, my
404
word.
brain not found. Flatter, I just saw you speak. That's an unusual event. What did you want to say?
Oh, I was laughing. But go ahead with this.
Wasn't his objection earlier
His ear is
that
put back properly because he is Russian. Russian always look good when doing job.
Marvellous. Thank you very much, Yuri. Now, you pin him down, anti-flatter. I'm sorry about that, mate. What were you saying?
no problem. Wasn't his objection earlier that there were too many wires, and now he's saying that they added too many wires on purpose?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
to make it look busy.
That's
What
the
the
one.
actual fuck is he talking about? I'm beginning to feel a little bit of Chapmunk coming on. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting
Oh,
slightly
fuck,
angry.
go
by
for it,
all
mate.
this.
Go for it.
Oh, no, there's a bit more. We'll push. I'll let the rage really build up before I explode. Unless anyone wants to jump in, I think we should continue.
I'm ready to carry on, mate.
Please do, sir.
Right, remember what I was saying about these blue bars that are spread out all over the walls and floor and ceiling of the space station? Watch this.
Wait for it.
Can you keep showing you the microphone floating?
Kind of a giveaway.
You're deliberately letting it
Because he
go.
keeps letting it go.
Stop.
Yeah, pause.
Stop.
Gutman, you wanted to add something.
Yeah, well, it's not just showing us. He's talking and using his hands, and convenience when you're in the fucking space station, things don't drop to the floor. Fuck! How convenient is that? How wicked is that? Can't you see that, you fucking idiot? Get quit! Ah!
It's amazing. He was climbing the walls like fucking Spider-Man, right? He was just hovering in the fucking air like Superman, and then he did 90 degrees like the world's most impressive acrobat, and then decided to magic the microphone to hover. Unless he's got the fucking force, that's quite impressive.
It's fucking magic!
And did you notice his watch? He's wearing a loose watch, and every time he's talked with his hands, that watch was floating around his wrist. That's a cool special effect.
Yeah,
Nice
brilliant. It's like
that.
I like it when they don't even miss out details like earrings and necklaces. You know, they really make sure to get everything right.
Absolutely, yeah, right.
Yeah, whereas if you go to the cinema and watch Gravity, they missed those sort of little tricks, but NASA, man, they're tops. They
Oh yeah,
really
well this
are.
is it. You watch the most expensive sci-fi movie that's ever been made, ever, right? The most scientifically accurate one ever, like The Martian or something like that. And you get any standard nerd and get him to watch the video with the ability to do a freeze frame, and he'll find you 5 million mistakes, right? But NASA never even fuck up once. Like, occasionally they might accidentally show you the blue screen in the background, but basically they nail that shit. No wonder it costs so much money.
Yeah, fucking brilliant.
Fucking unbelievable.
Oh.
My God. Just full of rage, wordless rage. It's obviously space! Sorry. Did anyone want to jump in with something sensible to say? Let's talk to Logical Troglodyte for a minute. What do you reckon, man?
I got nothing. I mean, as much as I try to play devil's advocate and do the voice of reason and logic, I just can't with this guy. You know, toss him off a bridge. Yeah.
Unreal. Cup of reason. What about you?
Well, being a teacher, teaching children in grade 3, I would give anything to be able to do that in class because I got my hands full from start to finish.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah, make stuff floating away like that. We've got to get the trick off of NASA. They pay our checks. They might as well give us the magic. Does anyone else want to have a quick jump in before we play again? Lovely stuff. In that case, let's continue.
So I've got a question.
Get on with it then. This is great though, isn't it?
It is.
Look at this.
I love this.
Best part about it is the dipshit's not saying anything.
Yeah. If the guy would just keep his mouth shut, this would be an entertaining video.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm mesmerized. I love that they get school kids to talk to genuine astronauts. What a great idea.
I think he's completely forgotten to ask his question.
So why don't you show us that then?
They got there eventually.
Why did he have to be Scottish? Why?
Right.
Another Scottish idiot. He's agreeing with me. You heard
I
it.
couldn't understand what he said. What did he say, Carrie?
Right. So
Why don't you
why don't you get showed stuff like this
Yeah, he said, why don't you show it then?
and this? Unbelievably, they have a mock-up of the space station on Earth.
Yeah,
This is
for training,
unbelievably-
you idiot.
Unbelievably.
This is the mock-up. on Earth, and this is what they show us. It's up there.
So you mean a thing that lots of
Almost
people walk through
identical.
every day? I mean, yeah, let's pause for a minute. I've
What do
got
you
to
think?
say something. Sorry. This is ludicrous. So one of those, he's calling it a mock-up, but it's like, I forget if it's the Smithsonian. It's a museum where you can go in and you can wander around and you can have a look. And weirdly, the floor's not covered in crap for you to fall over, so you can sue somebody. Whereas in actual space, where they don't let schlubs like me or you go unless we've got millions of dollars to pay NASA, they tend to like trust the scientists not to break the $1 million equipment. Weird, isn't it?
Really?
Almost like when you go to a museum, you don't actually need to actually have the actual scientific experiments they're doing on the actual ISS. You just need a kind of mock-up of it. Weird. How could something not be totally identical in every respect? Fuck me. My model railway is going to have to improve.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to butt in there. Casual Spaceman reckons that it might be one of the Russian one of the Russians on the MIR space station, not the ISS.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
That's interesting. I'll see if I can get a better look in a moment. Schrodinger's cat, sorry, I haven't called you out recently. Have you got anything you wanted to add at the moment in terms of what we're seeing?
Well, what I was saying is whatever they actually train in probably looks a whole hell of a lot more like the real thing than what he just showed.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
I would think, because I have been in mock-up villages of the Middle East, and they look a whole hell of a lot like the real thing. And I actually did have an opportunity to see the mock-up of the Bin Laden compound.
Japan.
Oh, something's playing super loud.
Yeah, the video started playing. So should we pause that one for a moment?
Miyakanojo Shimazu residence. The mummified remains of a sea animal with webbed hands and feet.
Robert Leger, can you hear us, buddy?
Display.
Seems like we're getting a video played. Hey, thanks very much, man. Sorry, Schrodinger's cat, where were you, man? I do apologise.
Oh, no issue. I did have the opportunity once to see the mock-up village of the Bin Laden compound.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was dead on. I've been on I was on the Delta Force compound once, and they actually have the fuselage of a jetliner, so they can practice taking down raiding aircraft that are have been hijacked. We put a lot of money and effort into this.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that NASA does the same thing as the military does. So showing something from a museum, of course you're not going to put all the wires out there.
Yeah, bizarre that, isn't it? I just fail to see why people on the Flurf community don't get that. Sorry, I just stepped on someone. Who was that?
That was me.
Oh, sorry, mate. On you go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that what Schrödinger cat said. The Russians have done that too. Back during the Cold War, they had entire towns called America towns that were perfect in every detail to an average American town.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It's good training. In fact, a lot of people who've had experiences of like the armed forces or the Navy particularly will know that in Navy training, for instance, they will put you in a mock-up of several decks of a ship, get you to repair holes and leaks as water fills up around your ankle, or they will drop you into a tank from a helicopter and expect you to be able to sort yourself out and get yourself righted up. They intentionally try to make it as realistic as possible. Everything from live fire tests, all sorts of stuff. Schrodinger's cat, you're obviously extremely well placed to tell people about that, and you've done quite a good job terrifying us with it already.
Yeah, we have the USS Buttercup. It's about 10 miles from where I'm at right now. It's basically a giant swimming pool, and it has a ship that's not a ship, but it's a box that looks like a ship if you're inside it, that's floating inside there. So they put a bunch of people in there. We all got, it's perfectly dry. Everything's fine. There's pipes and everything. And then they start to flood it. And you have to seal the pipes off, patch the pipes just like we're trained to do before this thing sinks to the bottom of the pool. Because if it sinks to the bottom of the pool, then you're, theoretically dead. Of course, it's not going to be over your head. But once it hits the bottom of the pool, that's when you've basically lost the game. So it's a race against time. When we do those things, and you're in water up to your neck, trying to patch a pipe that's spraying water in your face. You train like you fight. That's the way that's how we talk about it. You make the training as realistic as possible.
Indeed. And I think everyone knows famously NASA is like, of all of the training regimens, being an astronaut is one of the hardest, right? You have to go through every kind of training to the point where you can do it thoughtlessly without even having to stop and think. You just automatically can reach for the best solutions. You know, that whole work.
It's muscle memory is what it's called. And if you can, you make the training harder than the fight.
Yeah, indeed. So that when the fight comes, you actually feel over-prepared, if anything.
Right.
Anti-Flat, you're a serviceman. You wanted to add something, did you?
Yeah, it was just to reiterate that one what Schrödinger was saying. So you train for the worst so that the normal seems easy.
Yeah, indeed. And Logical Troglodyte, you as well, former serviceman. It looked like you wanted to add something yourself.
Oh yeah, because believe it or not, these environments will try to kill you. We are not designed to be in space.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's the same for things like submarines. Let's be honest. Human beings being inside a metal can underneath the water, a few inches away from a terrible implosion. That's not something that we exactly evolved for. We've just managed to make it work just about, right? This idea that you have to completely and overwhelmingly train people is so common amongst organized sort of institutions. It surprises me it's causing so much confusion at all.
Oh yeah, the training is just vicious and it's fun. You know, my Schrodinger was talking about, you know, the Buttercup. My favorite thing was when I was stationed in San Diego and we had firefighting school. They had a mock-up of a main space of a ship, which is the engine room, right? 3 stories tall, and they would set it on fire, and then we had to go in and put it out. You know,
nice.
Yeah, in some of these training scenarios, you can get really hurt.
Yeah, main space firefighting is like the pinnacle of firefighting because there's diesel fuel.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Terrifying. Sorry, Logical Troglodyte, I stepped right on you. Did you want to add something there?
Oh, no, I was just going to mention that we did have a main space fair on the ship I served on while we were in port, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was on the fire team that night. Now, I had been in that space hundreds of times. I knew my way around, you know, but when we got in there and we had a Bravo fire, which is an oil fire, and all that smoke, you couldn't see anything. You know, all you could do was, you know, go to where the greatest temperature was and spray, you know.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You know, and my OBA ran out of oxygen and I had to go get relieved so I can go get another oxygen tank. And I had a hard time finding my way out.
Wow, yeah, that's mortifying.
I put out a Christmas tree one year, and in an office, and just a little Christmas tree, and that was fucking tough. As soon as I opened the door, I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, right. Flying.
What ship was that? Logical.
That was the Vincennes.
Oh, the Vincennes. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So Crudez, correct?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
That was a Crudez ship.
That was the first Ticonderoga class destroyer in the impact fleet.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, Bravo fire is nothing to screw around with because it makes so much damn smoke.
Yeah, black, thick and oily. Gets everywhere, stains stuff up instantly. Brilliant stuff. Right, okie dokie. Well, now look, I know for a fact that Kiri Mack's been trying to squeeze in for a few minutes there with a few comments. She's got them piling up now, so I'm going to give her a couple of minutes just to get through some of them. Kiri, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. We've got quite a few comments and we've got some pretty decent questions for Schrodinger's cat. So I kind of have to ask this one first because it's maybe my favourite comment so far, and it's from Jen Morgan. She wants to ask the panel, if a man ejaculates in space, do they slam back into the wall? But Mr. Unite for the Children had such a great answer, and he said, that's below your centre of gravity. It just makes you start spinning in a circle with a smile.
That's genius. I love that response.
Well, so it would hit you in the back of the head.
Right, like, you know, something about baby or something, right? Gravity.
One of the only environment I can think of where you can actually mushroom stamp yourself.
There you go. Have you guys heard about the zero-G sex suit that these, I believe it or not, a Dutch company have invented?
Oh, Christ, no.
So, like, the theory is if you're going to spend a long time in space in the future and people are going to habitate space, then eventually, you know, procreating is going to come up.
Yeah. Do you know
So
what?
they
I'm not.
created a great... Go on.
Go on, no, Karen.
Oh, well, they just created a great big sort of onesie for two people that you zip yourself into, and then you can sort of, you know, ferret away inside a sort of two-person sleeping bag. But it's designed especially for zero-G, and it's sort of spring-loaded to the wall, so you don't, you know, hit anything.
I was just going to say, I'm not surprised it was the Dutch.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? They came up with that one. What's our contribution to space going to be? Well, you can't smoke up there, so it's going to have to be banging.
How do you volunteer for the testing team for that?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, certainly. Right, anyone got anything else they'd like to add before we continue?
No.
Brilliant stuff. In that case, Robert Legere, take it away.
Right, another thing. They're always casually dressed. T-shirts and shorts and stuff. Right? And they're up in outer space, and what could possibly go wrong? Right? So what would happen in an emergency? Because they say putting on a spacesuit takes 45 minutes. Right?
Oh my God.
Stuff you've got.
Oh, no.
Stop.
This guy is an idiot.
No.
This guy's an absolute idiot.
I'm not being funny, right? But if they say it takes 45 minutes to put on a spacesuit, then it fucking takes 45 minutes to put on a spacesuit. What the fuck would you know? You know what I mean? If you put on a spacesuit, you fucking idiot. No, you haven't. You know, it takes a while because it's not just like putting on a fucking shell suit.
Yeah. No. Firstly, Steaming Cup of Reason, I saw you jumping in there. Do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, in the case of an emergency, you're not going to be trying to get into your spacesuit, which takes 45 minutes. You're going to be running to the hatch to close it, which takes about 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Good point, well made, sir. I'm wondering if Schrödinger's cat, if you had anything you wanted to add at the moment.
I'm not sure what his point was about it takes. I don't even know why he said that. He said, well, if there's an emergency, it takes 45 minutes to put on your spacesuit. Okay. If you're a deep sea diver and you're down, you know, however many feet, you can't just surface. So it's the same deal. If shit goes down, then you probably die.
Yeah.
Well,
that's one of those. They train.
It's just one of those things. If a major catastrophe happened, like a really big meteor hit it right in the middle, and they decompressed, you're gonna bend over and kiss your rear end goodbye anyway, even if you are in a spacesuit. Because guess what? You can't enter the Earth's atmosphere in just a spacesuit.
Exactly, you're fucked, and that is the huge risk that these people take. But going back to what Schrödinger's cat just said, I used to know a guy that he's retired from it now, but he used to do deep sea diving. And when I say deep sea, I mean as deep as you can possibly go. And he used to weld things to repair, repair pipes and stuff that were down at the bottom of oil rigs and whatnot. Now, his working day was an 8 to 9 hour day, but the job that he had to do would take him 20 minutes. The rest of that was coming back to the surface of, like the decompression so he wouldn't get the bends. Because he was so deep, would take between 6 to 8 hours for him to get back up.
Yeah, because you have to do it in stages.
Exactly, yeah.
And
I'm glad you guys both
pays
brought
a
this
ton
up,
of money, by
actually.
the way.
Sorry, say that again. I stepped right on you. Schrödinger's cat. Say that again, sorry?
I was saying that underwater welding they do, that pays very, very well. But
yes,
because you might die.
Indeed.
Yeah, he actually did die, but was, saved, brought back to life. But there was a storm and something fell down and hit him or something, and when they crushed him, or I'm not sure of the story exactly, but yeah, when they rescued him, they did have to revive him. But he had also had a lot of problems after that job because of that job.
You get lung embolism.
breathing mixed gases and whatnot. Hugely dangerous job.
Well, look, I'm glad you both brought that up, actually, because that's the specific reason that the spacesuit takes 45 minutes to get on, is because it runs at a different pressure with a different mixture of oxygen and nitrogen, and so you literally have to acclimatise to a lower pressure as if you were a deep-sea diver. That's the very reason for it. Now, Dick Dawson, you've got a comment you wanted to read out from Casual Spaceman, and then Kiri Matt's got a couple more she'd like to add to the pile. So, Dick Dawson.
Yeah, the space, I wanted this one because I was going to say it and Spaceman brought it up, and, you know, who am I to take from the audience? So it's Spaceman's credit, right? Sure. But in an emergency, they would not be putting on a spacesuit, damn it. They would be putting on a flight suit and then fucking off in one of the emergency reentry vehicles. They don't sit around for 45 minutes going, Jesus Christ, this is tough. I really wish we'd have come up with a better system, because they have a better system. Come on.
I could just imagine that, them sitting around with the air rushing out of a hole in the side, looking at their watches going, well, there's 37 minutes left to go, so just hold your breath. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the actual fuck? Right, any more side comments before I go to Kiri quickly? Lovely stuff. Kiri Matt, what have you got for us?
We have got Tony Design saying, well, if you, excuse me, you never know when there's going to be a meteor storm or you drift into an asteroid belt. These things are just unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? Like, them putting that fucking suit on for 45 minutes, do you think the woman with her hair all like that's going, does my bum look big in this?
Lovely stuff. All right, well, brilliant. In that case, I'm going to suggest to Robert and Jerry that we continue.
Yeah. And for the assistance. So, do they sleep on the shuttle? Yeah. Maybe they have them there just to wake up if they want to go on a spacewalk. Suspended animation. So, what I'm saying is, they have to fake it to make it look like space.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
They need to do stuff like this to confuse people and trick them.
He's on about it, isn't he?
Because how hard would it be to equalise the air pressure in the space station similar to what you do in an airplane, and people can walk about normal? I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because if that
is he
happened,
pausing after every
for God's sakes.
few words?
Someone fucking say something.
You have to
Yeah, Schrodinger's cat was up there.
I was asking, why does he pause after every few words?
I tell you, Schrödinger cat, I'll tell you why, is because he only shares a brain cell. His entire fucking community.
Oh, bless his heart. No, I thought I saw Steaming Cup of Reason jumping in there. Did you want to add something quickly, mate?
I was just saying those pauses are just an opportunity for his little brain to catch up with his mouth.
Well, I think Drunk Monkey was saying that he has a cerebral timeshare with other flat earthers.
Yes.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quantum entanglement. It's quantum entanglement. That's how they share the same thought, right? They only have that one molecule, that one atom in there, so it's really easy. It's no big deal.
You should study them for science.
Oh yeah, it is known as the sacred brain cell of Flatardia. It's zombified.
Okay, well, I will give this cat a little bit of credit. Well, no offense, conspiracy cats or Schrodinger's cat. I will give this individual some credit. He did prove two things. First thing he proved is he can't tell the difference between reality and a friggin' movie. And the second thing he proved is that stupid is universal.
Hear, hear.
Absolutely.
Well said, that man. I want a quick word from Anti-Flatter. How are you doing, sir? What do you think so far?
I'm just desperately trying to stop myself from smashing my head against my desk from the level of stupidity this guy's fucking bringing out.
Yeah, don't forget to move the keyboard out of the way first, because you don't want to...
No, I need that in the way because I've got a glass desk, so if I smash my head...
Just steal Yuri's vodka, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Start drinking it fast, though, holy.
Great stuff. Right, now, we're so close to the end of the video now that I'm going to suggest we let it play to the end before we move on. What do you reckon, guys?
Oh, God, okay, let's do it.
Let's do it there.
It was fake. They think it was like a movie. And that
oh my God.
is why they fake it. To make it look real.
That looks just so much like the ISS. I'm blown away. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's neat and tidy and all organized and whatnot. Yeah.
Oh, thank God it's over.
You just said that movies were different to reality, and for fuck.
Yeah.
So when they're trying to make it look real, it looks really fake. But when when it looks fake, it's because it looks real. I don't understand the point he's making.
Neither does he. I mean, literally, there's 3 brain cells on the left side of his head that are giving him a thought, and the 3 on the right just aren't smart enough to stop it from going to his mouth. That's what's really going on here.
Yeah.
If he's not doing the science thing, he's actually doing like a video to demonstrate the dangers of LSD, then fuck, he's doing an amazing job.
Jump on, go ahead, you jumping in there, mate.
Well, I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous, isn't it? The bollocks he's come out with. He's offered absolutely nothing in this video. He's just picked at things and just given his deluded opinion on whatever.
He said
here. There's a workstation. Or they're doing it to make it look real. Like Anti-Flat just said. Why are they doing it to make it look real? When it looks shit compared to the movies.
Isn't it? It's not like, I'm sure it must be of great irritation to these people that the inside of a space station doesn't have cool robots in it, but I'm sorry, it's there for science. It always has been, it always will be. It's going to be a while till you get to go up there to, like, lay on the couch and play zero-G football or something, and there's an end of it.
Yes.
Now, does anyone else want to jump in with any more comments? Because I'm going to turn to Kerry Mack and see if we've got any quick comments.
Just one last thing. I had an opportunity earlier today to watch this video. And at the beginning of it, he has a critique of the space shuttle that he says docks with the ISS. And I don't know if he doesn't know that the space shuttle was retired in 2011.
yeah. Well, you can't expect them to do their research properly, though. Now, it's good timing that you cut in there, actually, because I did want to get any last comments for you on the video. You're going to be my last port of call. Is there anything else you wanted to add before I move us over to Dick Dawson?
I think we've thoroughly explored this.
I think we have. Let's move on. Dick Dawson, why don't you take up the reins, mate?
Well, I think we kind of come, basically what we've got is somebody with the, let's say, general intellect of a cat litter box. And somehow they figured out how to make a video, and they think they're going to do this point and laugh and stuff. But what they didn't understand was what they were doing was making a video so that we could point and laugh.
Yes.
So right? I'm thankful for this guy because, like I asked in the chat earlier, I wasn't paying attention for the response, so sorry everybody, but does this guy actually make InRem look smart? This is seriously stupid shit, and I just don't know what to say. As far as excuse me, sir.
Yes, all right.
As far as I'm concerned, he might be one of the dumbest flirps we have ever come across yet, and I am recommending him right now for the top 5 list at the end of the year.
I agree.
Yes. Fucking yeah, man. Unless we get a lot more fucking dumb fucks along the way, he is pretty fucking hardcore when it comes to stupidity.
Does he have any videos of him making one of his videos while he's driving? Because that would clinch it for me.
Oh, fuck it. Please, no. That guy should not be driving.
I don't think he can drive. That's beyond his fucking level of intelligence. That would require passing a test.
Nice. Right, that was a lovely point well made. Look, I think we've gone around the table a little bit on this one too much. If we explore it too much more, we're going to go bloody insane. And I know there's another segment just raring to be lined up. So I'm going to chuck over to Dick Dawson now, who I think is going to cue it up for us.
Yeah, we have a real winner video coming up now, and we've covered the amazing History Channel and the absolute depth of the on the reality and the truth and what they're really showing us before on this show. And today, well, this one's straight from the toilet. We're plumbing serious depths with this one, folks. We have the History Channel and the Legendary Kappa. Let's take it away, guys.
Doctor, no, hold on a second, buddy. I think we've skipped out a bit. It's just that we've got an idiot report from Babes, which is due to come up now, I think.
Oh, I thought that was after this one. Okay, I'm stand corrected. So sorry, everybody. We have there's a real issue with our notes back and forth today. Everybody, we have Babe Troglodyte with the idiot report. And today's idiot report is very special because our man, AB Science, has hit 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, baby.
Woo! Go AB.
Yeah, and as such, our own Babes Troglodyte has prepared a special idiot report just for the occasion. Mr. Robert Leger, let's cue it up and kick it, man.
Time idiot report. Babes Troglodyte reporting. Tonight, we bring you Anthony Riley, who has unbelievably declared war on one of our own shills, AB Science. Mind you, AB is a research physicist, and Anthony Riley is, of course, an idiot. In his latest video, entitled Sleeping Warrior Eats AB Science for Lunch, Anthony served up an extra large helping of horse shit sandwich, liberally doused in word salad dressing. With the help of YouTube viewer and commenter Keith Marlowe, Troglodyte News was able to identify and remove the word salad dressing, exposing the underlying horse shit for all to see. Here is horse shit helping number 1. Here's Anthony Riley on mathematics.
You don't need any maths in science. You don't need maths at all. There's no room for maths in science.
Mathematics is predictive, and that has some aid benefit to science, the process of. Stop talking about maths. I don't understand why you would keep going on about it. It's not science.
Anthony Riley can't make up his mind whether math is a real science and can be used as a proper scientific tool or not. This is classic doublespeak, also known as the Flurf waltz. Trying to have it both ways, Anthony? How arrogant. Horse shit helping number 2. Anthony Riley on the quantitative nature of science.
Science does not need to be quantifiable. I don't know if it is quantitative or not. It's not a quantitative effect. I may be wrong on the quantitative nature of science.
This is known as the Flurf two-step. It is, it isn't. It is, it isn't. The most important part to remember is the two most honest statements he's made so far, which are, I don't know, and I may be wrong. Next up, horseshit helping number 3. Anthony Riley on quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics are not science. I may be wrong on the quantum mechanics bit being science. I don't really understand quantum mechanics. I realise that there's an element of quantum mechanics in this. I just can't explain it.
Here we have a Flurf two-step followed by the Dodge slide. It is, it isn't, slide out of the way with I'm clueless. Hey folks, it's Dancing with the Flurfs. Now, horseshit helping number 4. Anthony Riley on the scientific method.
The scientific method must be credible, verifiable, and repeatable. Yeah, I've sped this bit up. I've turned the volume down because basically he's Einsteining the shit out of this.
Here we have a dance step known as the Flurf Boogie, which is an incomplete definition followed by an ignoring and disparaging of evidence he doesn't like. Now, finally, horseshit helping number 5. Anthony Riley on his debating opponents.
You're just trying to make me look like a dick?
This dance step is known as the toddler stomp. Anthony, you don't need any help making yourself look like a dick. You do that all on your own. What do you have to say for yourself?
I was a dick.
Well said, Anthony. And that wraps up tonight's Idiot Report. Now back to you, Dick, and the Shills live show.
Well, all right, babes troglodyte. Now, everybody, I'm sure we can agree that's the kind of wrap up on that unbelievable slimeball warrior sleeping. What does he call himself? Oh, yeah, right.
Warrior.
Too stupid for life warrior. That's it. I remember. But well done, babes troglodyte. That was amazing. Schrodinger's cat, you must have seen some of this AB Science and Sleeping Warrior go back and forth. Did you happen to catch when AB Science made the model out of Sleeping Warrior's bullshit?
My favorite part is when Riley says that carbon dioxide is carbon and oxide.
Oh, man. That's amazing. That's just classic Riley.
Yeah, I've had several run-ins with Anthony Riley. My favorite one was when he said, this is when he first started the whole Einstein versus Newton thing. And he came on to Jose's show. I don't know if y'all know who Jose is, but if you don't, then I'll bring that up later because I want to plug his show. But he comes on and he said that no one has ever proved relativity. And I'm driving a truck with a trailer, or my truck with a trailer with ATVs on it. And I pull over to the side of the road and I quickly pull up the experiment that they did that proved that light bends around large gravitational bodies. This was, 1913 or something? And okay. So I'll put a link in there and say, hey, here's the experiment that you says doesn't exist. And he says, oh, I'll read it. And I didn't catch it at the time. He actually got me on that one because I said, okay, you read it. And the reason that he said he wanted to read it is so that it didn't get read. Because he gets 2 sentences in and he says, oh, well, this is not an experiment. And I spent the next 30 minutes trying to get him to read the actual report, and he wouldn't do it. So that was my first experience in person with Anthony Riley, and I've had several since. And I'm pretty sure he's faking it.
Oh yeah, he is a pedant to the point of a fault. His game's always word games, isn't it?
It's always semantics.
Yeah, you get your bowl and your dressing out because, wow, the salad is going to go flying, man. He's wild.
He is an absolute master of it, indeed. Now, does anyone else want to add anything quickly? Because otherwise, I think I'll pass over to Dick Dawson for the next vid.
I just want to say that...
Oh, yeah, Kerry Mack. Sorry.
John Rapp says, reminding us that AB Science absolutely chewed up Liley, spat him out, ground him into the dirt, and threw away the boots. Damn right.
He did indeed.
Schrödinger's cat has got a completely inimitable style of debate, which I've never seen anyone else really carry off. I suppose the closest I've seen to it might be MC Toon, who also has this sort of delightfully dry delivery. But every single debate I've seen you take part in was a masterclass in how to take down stupid ideas by just quietly and sarcastically pointing out where they're fucking idiots.
The thing that really shows who Cat is in a debate is this. When he first explained, when he was doing Fokker, well, I've got this big bottle of booze, and every time this shithead says something stupid, I'm having a drink. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but Cat, could you do that one for us? Because holy shit, that was good, man.
Well, that was a bottle of Glenlivet Scotch, but it was full of water.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Because you would have been shit-faced hammered in 30 minutes, man.
I don't know if y'all know Dave, the producer, who was on Odd Sequitur at the time.
Yes.
He sent me an email, and he was like, dude, are you dead? That was a fun debate. That guy said that they moved Sri Lanka.
Wow.
Like what? He said they broke into his house and took the H off of his Skechers.
What? Okay, that's a new level of crazy. Kiri Mack, I know for a fact you've got a couple of questions bubbling up from the audience you want to raise to Schrödinger's cat. Is that right?
I do, yeah. I've got a couple here. First one from Conspiracy Cats. Does Schrödinger's cat have a favourite flat earther, and if so, why?
My favorite flat earther is Marilyn Street Level. Not Marilyn Street Level. What's her name? Marilyn. Damn it. Spirit Level.
Spirit Level. Yeah, that's the one. She goes out with a big board on, doesn't she?
Yeah, she goes out and she screams in this really shrill voice that the Earth is flat, and she pushes a shopping cart that has two billboards on either billboard on either side. That's my favorite. That's my favorite flat earther. I just can't get enough because she is a devotee of the Eric Dubay School of Flat Earth. And I can't help but wonder how much faith can you put in an anti-Semitic yoga instructor for your science?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the answer to that question. And thank you, Conspiracy Cats, for the question. And can I get a shout out on one of your videos? Maybe just.
There he is.
Cats unite.
Yeah. I think after maybe we'll do an after show, and every 5 minutes we'll throw up a subliminal thing. Cats invite on Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, well, we have Schrodinger's cat, we have Conspiracy Cats, we have Cheshire Cat. I think there's a couple of other cats floating around.
Jim Bojo here, the cat wrangler of our panel, just started a new set called Mr. Jim Bells, and it's his cat at home taking over when he's not around. And it's a great set of debunks, Schrodinger's cat. You have to check them out. They're unbelievable.
You guys, every week you said something. You're so nice about this, but it's just a pokey little debunk, really. But look,
I'm convinced that these guys are the vanguard of the cat overlord invasion.
When the overlord come, you shall all be spared. So don't worry, because you have been kind to the cats. It will be fine.
I love Jim Bells because he always uses this wonderful tone of disdain when he talks about flat earthers.
Can you have
Logical Troglodyte was very gracious to moderate my last debate, and I want to thank him. I thanked him in email, but I want to thank him in voice. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome, but I'm not sure if it was a debate I moderated or if it was a preschool fight. I don't know. Right. God, that guy was such a toddler.
Funny you should mention that, because Casual Spaceman had a question for Schrodinger's cat, and that was, what did you think of the Matthias debate on Fight the Flat Earth's channel the other week? So.
Well, that was me debating him. So.
Yeah. So what did you think about it?
It was.
It was a shit show. I saw it myself. Wow. I mean.
Oh, le mot juste as ever, Kerry. Beautiful.
It was a shit show. I got a little bit of pushback for the way that I started it out.
You did?
For playing the video of him. Some people said that was poisoning the well. I thought it was just letting everybody know what we were up against there.
Technically, I will agree that's a poisoning of the well fallacy, but I will disagree with the people who was telling you that's where we lost control, because I rewatched it afterwards, and that isn't where he blew up. He blew up when you started showing your evidence. He didn't care what you were saying about him.
Absolutely not. Yeah, and that's why I think that I don't really have any regrets about the way I approached that debate, because I knew what was going to happen. I had talked to him prior, and I knew that he was just going to lose it and scream.
Yes. That's exactly what he did.
Actually, he's going to be debating Crash's RC here pretty soon. So I told Crash, I was like, "Hey, dude, I hope you know what you're going up against." And he's like, "Yeah." He already knows that it's going to be the same thing. Did you see where Matthias came back and said that I was a liar?
Yeah, that was a Gosh,
Yeah,
sorry.
what I thought was funny is what I thought was funny is he was trying to disallow all of your evidence because I'm not here to debate Google, but yet all he did was completely rip off Riley's eggs experiment, all of Riley's, you can't have negative ice creams statements, and he was just parroting Riley, so you weren't even debating Matthias, you were debating, a surrogate for Riley.
The only thing he actually proved was that evaporation is a thing.
Yeah,
with his own experiments. But he said that when I showed my globe with two different sized Africas, he said that I was using two different globes. So I went back and I made a live video where I used one globe and filmed the globe and then backed up and then zoomed in and then took screenshots. And he came on Jose's show and he said that he saw it and he did acknowledge that he was wrong, to his credit. But prior to that, he called me a liar, said I was using two different globes, as if they make two globes that look exactly the same, but with different size continents.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I just don't understand. This is such an easy to demonstrate thing. We've seen a few people do it. I have to say, yours was the first one I saw. It is a beautifully elegant demonstration because in one fell swoop, you've got video evidence and two photographs, and the photographs are linked to the video to prove the whole thing isn't some sort of camera trickery. It is just, that it is camera trickery, but a specifically controlled kind that you're demonstrating.
Yeah, he was sort of backed into a corner where he had no out except to say, yeah, you were right.
Nice. Well, at least you've got an honest response out of one. Honestly, some people manage to go a whole lifetime without ever managing it. I don't know if you've ever talked to Spurs Chemo, but that guy...
You took the word out of my mouth. I was about to say, oh, you mean like Spurkismo?
That guy is something else.
He's a master of not answering questions.
Isn't he? He's just, I've debated with him one-to-one myself on a few occasions, and you can pin him down for a little while, but then you realise what's happening is you've got him into a corner and he's just searching for the one word he can fixate on to change the subject. He's so frustrating as a debater. I can't stand the guy.
And he has a bad habit of when you back him into a corner, it's time for him to go have tea.
Yeah, he's got to go and stop, or I just need 5 minutes. I've got to relax. I've got to do this or that. Or
yeah, he loves that.
He's so exasperating. Right, we got any minor points that anyone else would like to add before we move? I think Kiri had one more question.
Yeah, this one's from Clifford Reynolds. He wants to know if serving in the Navy prepared you for dealing with flat Earth stupidity.
Yes. And that's what I was saying earlier, that I didn't know what I could bring to the table. But then I realized, I've just spent 22 years dealing with bullshit.
Yeah.
Bureaucratic nonsense bullshit. This is child's play.
Yeah. It very much is.
So, yeah. And especially when I thought back. See, when I was in the Navy, I didn't know that flat Earth existed. So I never paid a whole hell of a lot of attention to the fact that we would launch a helicopter at dusk and it would go up into the air and then all of a sudden it's illuminated by the sun.
Sure.
You would look at it and you'd be like, oh, that's cool. But you didn't really pay attention to it. Or the fact that I would see the mast headlight of an oncoming ship or the mast of an oncoming ship during the day before I would see the actual ship. Sure. Or that we had charts on the bridge that said, here's how far away you should see these ships. And then you could balance that against the radar and say, okay, that ship's 14 nautical miles away. This chart says I should see it. Holy shit, look through binoculars and you start to see it.
Absolutely.
We didn't pay attention to that because it was just a non-issue.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to do a little bit of retrospect in my brain and think back. And then I was like, there's tons of things. Sure. I have a chart on my wall in my office right here of Hampton Roads Harbor. And that chart is full of globe Earth proof. So the short answer is yes, it did prepare me. I just didn't know it.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
nice.
Thank you.
I've heard that from a lot of people who've had experience with the Navy, it has to be said. It's a lot to do with the fact that you're navigating vast stretches of ocean and that you have to sight things at a distance. It's amazing how often the curve comes up when it comes to projecting radar, radio signals, seeing things appear over the curve, navigating distances along different latitudes. It just, and even if, like you say, you don't realise at the time, if you come into the flat Earth argument, you realise, damn it, I know all these answers straight away already. It's really impressive.
There's no greater proof than the fact that longitudinal lines converge at the poles.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. South poles included, which is not possible on a disk.
Right, and I provide charts of the South Pole in some of my debates. I've had, I think, 1 or 2 where I've pulled up a chart of the South Pole.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Well, look, now, we've talked quite a lot about Flat Earth, and we've got something else lined up now, something that's a little bit more silly and a little bit different from our favourites, the History Channel. So I'm going to pass it over to Dick Dawson now, and I think he's going to line up the next one for us. What do you say, Dick?
Yeah, we have the History Channel coming up again with another one of their absolute doozies, you know? I mean, when are they going to change the name of this channel to the False History Channel, the Ooh, What If, and If So channel, you know, because that's all you hear from these guys anymore. But anyway, we have the Legendary Kappa. And, you know, I wasn't even sure what that meant going into it because it's so far down the rabbit hole, my flashlight couldn't show me the bottom where it is. What do you think, Robert? Let's kick this shit into high gear, buddy.
Discovered in 1818, the bones are the first of their kind to be exhibited.
Yeah, that's the voice.
And are purported to be from the legendary Kappa, a species of amphibious humanoid creatures believed to lurk in the waters of Japan.
The Kappa, which translates as water child, is a creature that is usually about 5 feet in height, has scaly skin, and is usually blue or green in color. It has a turtle shell on its back and a beak, as well as a kind of plate on the top of its head,
to be Yoda, but got
it always has to
couldn't
carry
get the line right.
water. If it spills this water, then it loses all of its power and it can die within a very short period of time. So the Kappa is basically a water demon.
The Kappa is perceived to be a very malevolent and quite violent creature. And in fact, children are warned to stay away from bodies of water because the Kappa will actually drag them in and drown them.
While accounts of the Kappa are rare in modern times,
Now,
there are
can we
still
pause for a
sightings
moment?
in
Is that
remote
all right?
areas, like the Fukuoka Prefecture. In fact, to this day,
Can we get a
signs can
pause,
be found
please, there,
posted
Robert?
near-
Can we pause for a moment there?
Yeah, there
Just
we
a quick
go.
one before it goes on, because this video it's only a short video, and we're going to get into some real meat in a moment. But I just wanted to clarify with everyone that all they've really pointed out so far is that there's a cultural myth in Japan. Oh my God. And it seems to be based on some sort of animist spirit. Now, I was talking earlier on to Logical Troglodyte about this, and as I'm sure you're all aware, he's a very knowledgeable man. And we were discussing how it's not really a dreadful surprise that in a country like Japan, with their religious sort of history, that they have a lot of these cultural myths, which are like, you know, strange monsters which are related to like the rivers or what have you. Did you notice how it seemed to have a lot of features familiar to things like alligators and creatures that they have in their water? Logical Troglodyte, what do you think so far?
Oh, the History Channels are just idiots. And like we were talking about earlier this morning, you know, these morons are trying to look at a Japanese cultural story through a Western lens. And you can't do that. Their culture is totally different. What they think of as a demon is not what Judeo-Christian Westerners or, you know, would think of as demons. These are, like you said, an animus spirit, you know, a personification of a physical thing like the water or the wind that can either do harm or good for you. They're neither good nor bad. And really more than anything else, the Kappa is a cautionary tale to keep the children safe away from water where they might drown.
Indeed. Well, this is it. This is why these cultural myths survive, because even though you don't always recognise it nowadays, they served an important function. They were often warnings of danger. Most of the fairy tales and the fables and things that you've heard, things like the boy crying wolf and what have you, they have some underlying message, which is, if you look at it, a survival mechanism. With the Kappa, it would seem to be the sort of story you tell to children to make them afraid of going too near dangerous waters, you know, make them be careful around the river.
This is a way of making sure that children stay away from an undertow before they can have it explained to them.
Absolutely, and as time goes on, it develops into a myth and a story in the same way as, you know, the boogeyman in America, or any number of, you've got Baba Yaga in like parts of Eastern Europe and Russia.
Right.
Things,
and Japan is an island, so guess what they have a lot of?
Yeah, quite.
Fishy stories.
Indeed. Bizarre. Right, anyone want to jump in with anything before we get on to the next half of this vid?
Well, I'll just say, like, you know, obviously Japan being an island in the Pacific, like every one of the Pacific islands has a story like this, where they are simply that, stories. I mean, in New Zealand, I wear a carving on my neck of a taniwha. Doesn't mean that the taniwha was actually a real fucking creature.
Yeah, indeed. But these are all important cultural sort of artifacts. They're not. It's not just that they, you know, represent a way to keep kids away from water. It's something that's valued by a society as part of their history as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the taniwha is it's a mythical creature, but it is part of the Māori culture. But I mean, even on my logo, that pati that I've got on there, that's got a depiction of the taniwha on it.
Yeah,
no one's
sure.
trying to say that this is a real fucking creature.
Indeed. Right, now, Kiri Mack, I think you've got a couple of comments you might want to throw in at the moment. Is that right?
Sure. 9 O'Clock Hero says, this kind of reminds me of a channel I used to watch, full of useful info, but one day they saw a triangle in the sky. Now it's horseshit alien craft channel. Did increase though. He's got a point. What the fuck happened to history on the History Channel?
It became history, it seems. I mean, we love playing this game with History Channel. The people watching might have noticed we've had a few clips from them. They are stunning. They bring forth the most amazing bullshit. They're better than Flirt half the time with the stories they come up with, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And it always goes this way. It always goes this way. Could it be bullshit, bullshit, bullshit? And if so, bigger bullshit, bigger bullshit, bigger bullshit. It's the same every time.
I mean,
Indeed, Kerry.
I'm not saying aliens, but aliens. Am I right?
Yeah.
Every damn time.
It sort of went the way of MTV, which is now the music video channel for people who don't like music videos.
Oh, right. Whatever happened to actual music? The very first song on MTV was Dire Straits' Money for Nothing. A classic tune, I'm sure you'll agree, if a bit cheesy.
That's not what my information tells me, sorry. My information tells me it was Video Killed the Radio Star.
That's
yes, it was. Sorry, Jimbo, but you are wrong on that one.
I have been misinformed. What do you know? Oh, well, that's cool. It's nice to learn.
I used to sit and watch MTV.
Clever.
I used to sit and watch MTV for hours. And now it's just pregnant teens.
Right.
Hey, they have Cribs and Pimp My Ride occasionally. Reruns from 10 years ago.
Yeah, tune in for the Shills crib shows in approximately 400 years.
Did you see the D Marble cribs?
Oh, yeah, D Marble's got a new crib, hasn't he?
Oh, my.
He's in a fifth wheel now. It's a serious upgrade for that guy.
Yeah, it is. I remember him making. He made a video. He made a video once about how to make a bucket into a toilet.
Oh my!
Oh God!
This was a couple of years ago.
That would be a necessary skill for him.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know.
Did I miss something? Are we talking about Pratt now? Because that really sounds like a thing Pratt would do. Holy.
Oh, D Marble is a man unto himself in that regard. Has anyone seen his hydrogen fuel cell that he's put out in the last week or two?
No.
Oh, God. Okay, so he's misunderstood the idea of electrolysis. He's putting bicarbonate in water and got some electric plates and a car battery, a household light switch, and a car fuse, right? And running a series circuit, he's creating hydrogen, which is bubbling through a cooler. The thing is, the cooler
is just doing water injection.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, he's literally at the point of he's breaking the hydrogen and the oxygen apart, but he's not doing anything with it useful. It's not actually a fuel cell. It doesn't create power. He's just electrolyzing some water. And because he's not collecting the hydrogen or oxygen, it's
that's what I was going to ask. How's he capturing the carbon? Yeah. You kind of got to do that. That's an essential step.
I think so.
Yeah, it's amazing. You've got to get over in there and watch it, because it's just. I don't think he really understands what he's even doing. He just makes the water bubble and thinks, "Look, science."
But you got to give him credit, because for a guy who lives in his van down by the river, it's not a bad shout, right? You know.
Dripping Fool here says, "Well, the shiter bucket might be the only true and useful bit of knowledge Marble put out."
I tried to explain to a flat earther earlier today how, because he said that water is an element unto itself. And I said, then why do submarine sailors do electrolysis? That's how they make the oxygen that they breathe.
Right.
Through electrolysis. And he said,
water is an element.
He just basically said, well, they don't. And I'm like, so are they dead?
Oh, that's amazing.
My gosh, we really kill all sailors we put underwater just because reasons? No, we actually know what we're doing, moron.
That's why I never joined the subsurface fleet.
Who knew Schrödinger?
I didn't want to die.
Who knew that Schrödinger actually had his own navy? You know, they're both alive and dead at the same time down there.
Yeah.
Nice, Schrödinger's navy. That's amazing. I should remember.
You never
that.
know.
Right,
you never know until they surface.
That's it. You know, we sent out a tweet this evening about you being on the show, and we made a little gag about that, because we basically said, look, we have got Schrödinger's cat on there tonight, but we don't know if he's actually going to be there unless you turn up to observe it. So we sort of had to get people to show up just to make sure you know what I mean?
So what you're saying is, when I logged on, the probability wave collapsed?
That's exactly right.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Beautiful. Oh, I love nerd jokes. Right. Look, we're only halfway through the video, and we haven't even had the aliens bit yet. So let's continue just for the minute, shall we?
More stupid.
Yeah, more
Dry
stupid.
Japan. Warning of the Kappa. For ancient astronaut theorists, the Kappa are not only real,
Here we go.
but their existence is proof
It's Bigfoot's niece,
of
man, don't you know?
otherworldly beings inhabiting the Earth's waters.
These Kappa are reported as having an unusual intelligence. Apparently they can speak even though they have a bird-like beak. And now physical, tangible artifacts of the body of the Kappa have gone on display. Will we find genetic markers that clearly show that it could not be something from Earth?
Question.
Okay, pause.
I think that might be it. Hold on. Is that the end of the air raid?
Is that the end? Is that the end? Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it was.
I think so. Right.
At the end.
Okay.
I'll turn straight
That
to you.
blonde guy is got to be one of the dumbest men on earth. Have you ever seen Ancient Aliens? And I have the misfortune of having a friend who likes it. So every now and then when I go over there, I have to sit through like part of an episode. And this guy would really believe it if you walked in the room holding 5 dildos at your waist and said, "Oh my God, look what grew from me." He would come up with a reason to justify it and explain it. And yes, it would have been the aliens. Holy shit, this guy is painfully stupid.
Man, he just, they waited all the way to the end. They explained the cultural myth. They gave all the different things. And then right at the end, yeah, but definitely aliens, right? It talks. Where did that fucking come from? And what about the bit where they had its hand? What do you mean this is a bit of the Kappa? That's a fucking new one. Oh, and when we get genetic information, will we find that? Will we? No, you won't, is what you'll find. You'll find out it's basically a sealed arm is what that is. Sorry.
Kidding. That petrified hand at the end had a hole in it. I bet you that's the same footage they used from the Jesus documentary last year.
Well, Jesus was an alien. I found that out on the History Channel, so that must be true.
Yeah. And you know what? You know what else I just learned? What I also just learned was that if I'm the Kappa, Smarties are not for me because damn, that would be a pain in the ass. Oh shit, I dropped them again. Ah shit, that damn hole in my hands.
I heard someone cut in there. Was that Jeff Spikers?
No, that was me.
I was just gonna say. Oh, it was
sorry.
No, it was Schrödinger's cat. I will come back to you
cat.
in a moment. Schrödinger's cat. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I had a perfectly good joke about the hole in the middle of the hand. I said, "Is that the Christ Kappa?" And then he's
no. Oh,
sorry,
no,
buddy.
What have you done?
Damn
I'm
it.
sorry. What have we done?
I'll come up with a new one. Give me a
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Stephen Cup of Reason. Sorry, mate. What did you want to add?
Yeah, they're talking about this Kappa being this dangerous beast that comes out of the water to kill you, but he can't spill his bowl of water.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Oh, these bizarre, conflicting, different details. This is a bit like, now, I don't know if anyone in here in the audience was watching it, but if they didn't, you need to get over to World Model Feuds channel and watch the hangout that he had last night because, firstly, wow, he was just a great show. Everyone here who's seen it knows that. But secondly, the video that was suggested to you, which, I tell you what, why don't you do it better justice than I can?
Well, Sean Hawkins was in the chat, and we all know Sean Hawkins. So we put out a call, who's got something crazy that we could cover on the show tonight. Sean was first. We knew better, but we took the bait anyway. And oh man, it was this channel. I can't remember the chick's name. And I mean, she's just playing the role, right? She's just having fun and, kind of doing the out thing. And my God, it was funny. It was Matthew McConaughey's penis had to be removed for surgical reasons. And I don't even know where to go with this, Jimbo Joe. It was amazing. But I still think this was even crazier. Oh, yeah. The Church of Gale. The Church of Gale. That's what it is. Yeah. Thanks to End of Conspiracy there. Right on. And it was mind numbing. I highly recommend checking it out because it was absolutely crazy. And, at the beginning, we played like it was like absolutely true, but as we went on, we sort of let on that we kind of know that she was just playing it. And a few people that didn't catch on that we knew didn't catch the joke where we did Radical covering Flat Out afterwards to kind of cap it off. It was really it was cool, right?
Yeah, man, that was an excellent show. I have to say that particular video that you were watching as well with that woman, I mean, a computer virus was getting into celebrities and it was causing their penises to devolve into vaginas or to degrade. In Hugh Jackman's case, it turned into a literal snake in his trousers, and then Chinese doctors stole the penises because they were jealous of the size, but thankfully they managed to restore the penises and turn off all the computers. It is the most extraordinary thing I have ever heard in my entire life. Full stop. Bare no. I mean, there's nothing else. You have to get over there.
Yeah, I was sore from laughing. That was just unbelievable, man.
It's extraordinary. She is a genuine person who thinks these things. I mean, we think flat earthers are mad. You have not got shit on her. Seriously.
Yeah, this was awesome. Yeah.
We would call that in the counseling profession a really dicked up brain.
Oh, right. Yeah, because of course you were there too, Logical Troglodyte. I'd forgotten to mention. Yeah, what did you think of that mess?
Like I said, it's just a really dicked up idea,
What is this person's name again?
Oh, I forget now. Dick Dawson's just stepped away. It's called Church of Jane or something. I can't remember.
Church of Gale.
Gale, that's it. Right. So that's who you want to be looking for. It was
Gale.
GAIL. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, it's GAIL, I think. If it was GALE, then she would be blowing rather than, well, never mind. Let's just
Oh, you're usually such a gentleman. Right, now, look, I'm going to go around the table right now, and I'm going to start with Kiri Mack. I want to know if you've got any comments from the audience, questions for Schrödinger's cat, or anything you want to add yourself.
Yeah, I've got a question. This is quite funny. Now, unfortunately, I seem to have deleted who said it because, flurf brain. So it's for Schrödinger's cat, and he wants to know, is Conspiracy Cats dead or alive?
Nobody knows till the waveform collapses, right?
Right. I also...
Oh, sorry.
I'll let you actually answer that. It was a question after all, wasn't it? Sorry.
Well, I didn't know there was any ambiguity about conspiracy cats. Maybe just conspiracy.
Yeah, right.
I have never seen conspiracy cats get in a box, so...
That is true.
I did see conspiracy cats fall once, and it was at free fall speed.
Oh, really? I say, well, that's an important datum point to be carrying going forward.
And conspiracy cats building 7 is also a little suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for no reason whatsoever, right? Dear, oh dear. Right, anyway, before we start getting complaints, because I'm loving this line, but you never know. Kerry, have you got any more final questions or comments, or do you have anything you would like to shell out for? Any projects you know about? Just anything you'd like to say to the crowd before we start rounding up to go home?
Sure. Glober Mom put a really cool quote in the chat earlier, and I just want to read it out. It's 2 things are universal: hydrogen and stupidity. And that's Frank Zappa. I like that one.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
I also want to make a correction. There's a lot going on here. I read out the comments, sometimes the wrong ones, but I should correct myself and say that I was talking about the Mir space station, not the MIR space station. I'm sure you all knew what I was going on about, but just in case. My bad, guys.
Well,
Happens when you watch all these flat earth videos and all these dumb conspiracies. You take that stupid on board a little bit, don't you?
It does cause some sort of soul damage. It is a bit worrying sometimes. I feel significantly dumber watching all of this stuff. Look, thank you very much indeed, Kiri. I think I'm going to move next on to Dick Dawson. Have you got any sort of final bits of shilling you'd like to do, or final comments before we say goodbye?
Well, let's do a little shilling here first. I want to call out to Glober Mom in the chat there. Everybody should go and have a look at her content. Up-and-coming creator, fantastic stuff. We've got Stonehard Bread in the chat, another up-and-coming creator, but he's not really an up-and-coming because this guy's got some skills, A lot of you know Anthony Bailey. That's Stonehard Bread. Get over there and check him out. And I do believe there was one other one in here. If I could just figure it out quick. Oh, I can't figure it out quick. I don't know. Okay. And we should also be talking about the fact that you've got more Mr. Jim Bell's episodes coming on Jim Bojo's channel. Check it out. We've got some cool new world model feud. Checking it out. AV Science hit 1,000 subs. Get over there and check it out. And if anybody can hear my voice and you are not subbed to Schrodinger's cat, get over there and sub right now, because you're going to get your mind blown. This cat's got skills.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. So, yeah, everyone, I hope you were listening, because there was a lot of information there and all of it was extremely valuable indeed. Next up, I am going to go to, unfortunately, Sarcastic Bellman had to drop out at this point, so I'm going to have to remove him from the list. But because he can't be here, I want to point out that he's got a couple of great videos coming out soon, and he's doing some collaborations with some other people. So I can't give you much more than that nebulous information. You're going to have to get down there, selves, and check it out. Next, though, Anti-Flatter. How are you doing? What do you think of what we've seen so far? And if you've got anything you'd like to add before we say goodbye.
Not much more to add, but I will just do a shell out for one person that he's been struggling to get a bit of views recently, but David Emery. If anyone hasn't seen him, I recommend heading over to his channel. He actually does quite a lot of fucking good stuff. Ex-NASA shill himself, worked for NASA itself, so he knows what he's talking about too. But yeah, he's a bloody good watch. So if you haven't seen him, then yeah, definitely.
This is David Emery, right? You dropped out for me very slightly. I have to double check. I'm sorry.
Oh my bad. But yeah, no, David Emery, man. He's absolutely brilliant.
Indeed, I was planning to do an interview with him for quite a while, but it sort of fell through for various reasons. I'm still planning to get in contact with him to do a bit of collab work with him myself. I think I can second that. He does some really amazing work. The quality of his videos and the sort of presentation on it's been steadily rising the whole time I see him. I think you need to get over there and have a look, because he's an informative chat, right?
Yeah, no, he's brilliant. Me and him talk off to the side as well with and he doesn't know I'm doing the shout out for him either, so I reckon if we can head over, it'd be a great surprise for him.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd second that motion. Get over there. Now, Mark the Drunk Monkey, how are you doing, sir? sounds awfully quiet on the Chipmunk front. I
What
thought it'd
the
been a little
hell?
bit quiet. I think he might have dropped out a little bit earlier. No wonder it felt so quiet. Well, if he has a chance to get back in before the end, I'll definitely shout at him. But in the meantime, let's see what Logical Troglodyte's got to add. How are you doing, sir? What do you think?
Oh, first I want to thank Schrödinger's cat for being on the show with us. I've been watching him since his second video, and it has been a pleasure to watch this man's channel grow, his technical skills evolve over time. His show is just really good. You got to see him. And big shout out to The Conspiracy, who is going to be having his 400 sub special, and apparently he's roasting himself. I'm not sure how that works with the spit turning, but I think we're going to have to go check that out.
I agree. After this, I shall be certainly heading over there. We're going to have a little bit of an after show after this one, I think, which I'll be sticking around for, but I will certainly make sure to pop my head into End the Conspiracies and add my own insults to the fire.
Well, actually, let me correct there, because End the Conspiracy stream will be starting in about 25 minutes. So what we would have done as an after show for the Shills, because going forward, we will be doing an after show on our own channel here. But tonight is all about End the Conspiracy and the roast to do the 400 sub special. Now, if you want to hear somebody like Jutmonk the Drunk Monkey, myself, Dick Dawson, or Sarcastic Barman tear a little chunk out of End the Conspiracy, get your ass over there, because he's a dead man.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. Brilliant stuff. Now, Steaming Cup of Reason, what about you, sir? What did you think of what we've seen today? And do you have any stuff you want to tell people about before we go?
Well, today was a great show. It was another foray into stupid. Always enjoyable. I just want to say it's been a pleasure to meet you, Schrödinger's cat. Been watching your stuff since you were on Non-Sec. Really great stuff. Love your channel. As far as myself is concerned, I'm hoping to get a video out in the next couple of days to make up for the one I missed last night. And I just want to remind everybody to keep their eyes on this space, because coming soon will be Logic and Reason, a collab between me and Logical Troglodyte, where we're going to take a deeper look at some of the dumb shit conspiracy theorists think. So make sure you watch out for that.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. I think that's wise advice indeed. Now we've got, let's see, we've got Robert the Third. Now you've seen all the same stuff as us today. Have you got any thoughts on it, or is there anything that you'd like a chance to direct people, be it places or people or content, before we say goodnight?
I think that everything we saw tonight was just about par for the course. Stupid as always. You guys covered everything that I could have thought of to plug here at the end. So just thanks for coming, everybody, and see y'all next time.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for that. Now, is there anyone who has anything they'd like to add finally? Because otherwise, I think we're going to close up for the evening. Anyone?
I think
I think we should turn to Schrödinger's cat for the last word.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir, and thank you, and thanks everybody for having me. I had just a whole bucket full of fun tonight, and in response to Kiri's Frank Zappa quote, I want to respond with an Albert Einstein quote that there's only two things that he can think of that are, this paraphrasing, not an exact quote, two things he can think of that are infinite: human stupidity and the universe, and he's not so sure about the universe.
Love it.
So if I can eventually get to 1,000 subs, I have an agreement with my wife that I get to buy a new camera. So everybody, help me out if you can.
Indeed.
Link in the chat as usual, guys.
Yep.
Please sub.
Schrödinger wants a new camera.
Lovely.
Thank you, Logical Troglodyte, for all the help that you've given me in the past, and for, as far as I can tell, you're responsible for me being here tonight. And everybody, please join me over on In the Conspiracy here in a few minutes. And again, thanks everyone for having me tonight, and I'll be thrilled to be again here in the future.
Indeed. Well, we look forward to that as well. Look, great. Thank you very much indeed. That's the panel. For me, it's a very simple one. Keep your eye out for new videos from all the creators, me included. We've got comedy, analysis, hangouts, debates, as well as just just so much more. You will never regret it if you head over to each of our channels, hit the subscribe button so you never miss out. Thank you for coming. We'll be back in the midweek, and then next Saturday, same time, same place as ever, and we'll have even more madness to poke holes in for your entertainment. With that, I'll just wish you a very good evening, or a good morning, or a good night, or a good afternoon, wherever you are. I've been Jim Bojo. This has been the Silly Shill Show, and we've been the Shills. Good night from me. Good night from them. Good night, everybody.
Good night.